So I'll just give everyone a quick 101 on what's happening. Sheikh Hussain will be reading out the statement on behalf of about 225 signatories and community organizations, and with some of our community leaders and esteemed mashayikh standing alongside with him to deliver that message. So we'll get started. We're just waiting for one more person, I think, and then we'll welcome them and make a start. Sheikh Hussain, when you're ready.
Decades and deliver vital aid to its besieged population. Abu Bakr Rafiq, a young Australian Muslim, is one of 8 Australian citizens on board the Sumud Flotilla, alongside people of conscience from around the world. The flotilla is approaching Gaza. Boats have already been attacked, and within the coming days will be at grave risk of attacks, interception, unlawful detention, or even loss of life at the hands of the Israeli military, which has a long record of targeting flotillas in international waters. The actions of these Australians are not reckless, but deeply rooted and deeply principled in humanitarian concern, moral responsibility, and legitimate and legal legitimacy. The flotilla and its participants are acting within the framework of international law, exercising the right to navigation and delivering humanitarian relief to a population under illegal siege. The Australian government has both a moral duty and a legal obligation to protect its citizens abroad, particularly when they are acting in pursuit of peace, justice, and humanitarian relief. To remain silent or inactive in the face of the imminent risk to the lives of Abu Bakr and other Australian citizens is unacceptable and inconsistent with Australia's obligations under international law and its stated values of human rights and justice. We, the undersigned members of the Australian Muslim community, demand that the Australian government act urgently and decisively to protect Abu Bakr Rafiq and the other Australian citizens. This includes, number 1, an immediate public statement affirming the right of Australian citizens to participate in humanitarian missions free from harassment or harm. and condemning any potential Israeli aggression against the Sumud Flotilla. Number two, direct diplomatic action. Australia should urgently demand that Israel not endanger the flotilla or hinder its passage to Gaza, and follow the examples of hundreds of representatives in the European Union who have demanded immediate protection of the flotilla, and the Italian and Spanish governments who have mobilized their navies to protect the flotilla, and to convey that harm to Australians on board will carry serious consequences. Number three, consular protection, which is to ensure that consular services are fully mobilized to monitor the safety of all Australian citizens and to prepare immediate support and legal recourse in the event of unlawful detention. And number four, international advocacy, to raise the issue in international forums such as the United Nations and to pressure Israel to respect international law and humanitarian forums and humanitarian norms, and to collaborate with other governments whose citizens are on board the flotilla to apply collective diplomatic pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for coming here today. Are there any questions that you may have or that you may want to ask? We're open to that, inshallah.
There are questions that have been received from media sources. Can we read those out?
Yes.
Why are Australian Muslims supporting this when the government has said that it is unsafe? Why are Australian Muslims supporting this flotilla when the government itself has said that it is unsafe?
I think it's important to draw our attention to what is currently happening at the moment. So we have a genocide cast live on our screens. And the Sumud Flotilla is in fact the largest civilian maritime mission to date. And the objective is to break the siege, the illegal siege on Gaza. And so on board, we have people from across 44 nations. We have doctors, we have activists, we have people of conscience ready to draw the world's spotlight on the crisis and on the situation that is currently happening in Gaza.
Is the Sumud Flotilla a front for Hamas? What do you make of the links that have been made to Hamas by some, that the initiators of the flotilla are associated with Hamas?
What, just the last bit?
What do you make of Hamas links to some of the initiators of the flotilla?
Well, if we look at the people that make up the participants on board the Sumud Flotilla, like we said, doctors, people of conscience, people who are advocates, grassroots, this is actually an ongoing, if you like, an extension of what has been resistance for a very, very long time. The Sumud Flotilla draws on that resistance over the many, many decades that Palestine has been under, over 77 years and now 18 years of siege. So this is a culmination of resistance against what is clearly a genocide and an extermination of a people.
Just to clarify, the Palestinian people have been going through a genocide for the past 80 years. If you have an issue with the written international law protections of resistance, then that's your problem. If you do not have a problem with resistance, trying to regain your land, trying to regain your rights, you will understand that this is a form of resistance. So it's your issue if you want to put a name on the resistance, that's your problem. The resistance will continue regardless of whatever names you throw at it, whatever misinformation you try to attach to it. This is an international delegation from all over the world, humans, different aspects of life. It would be interesting to try to label them as terrorists. So it's much, much easier to label civil, lawful protest, such as the flotilla, as terrorist or Hamas or whatever you want to do. But that's not the case.
Why should the Australian government intervene in something happening so far away?
Well, you've got 2.3 million people who are suffering genocide, dispossession of their land. And as a people, if we remain inactive and if we remain silent, this is a catastrophe and a mar on the entire world. And so this is about drawing the world's spotlight to bring it to the attention. At the moment, we are seeing the most documented genocide in history. We must act. We will not stay silent. We will not go into the shadows. We will put our foot forward. We will stand for justice. We will stand against oppression. And we currently see that the world is slowly moving. Governments are slowly moving. And they're calling it out for what it is. And recently we had a United Nations report that openly found the finding of genocide against Israel.
Australia just recognized Palestine. And it's a part of the duty in the international law to make sure that international norms are protected. There's a siege on Palestine. The siege needs to end. And it's a moral and legal right for us to request our government and our representative to be active.
And one of the things that I will draw a point on is that Australia has long advocated for rights, whether it's the right to move, whether it's international law, whether it's the rights of women, the rights of children. Australia has long been an advocate of these things. And it shouldn't stop. It shouldn't stop because there are politics at play. You need to fight hard. You need to fight hard because one life is worth fighting for. One single life is worth fighting for. And so when we saw that blueprint for Ukraine, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Australia did not spare a sanction. And it administered every single sanction that it could towards Russia. So we are calling on the Australian government to bring everything that it potentially can to impose upon Israel to ensure that its citizens are safe and that the flotilla is allowed to carry on with its mission and peacefully break the siege that 2.3 million people are currently under.
Those are the last two questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. We'll grab some comments on for some of the social media circles, but thank you for your presence. And we'll make it easy for our brother Abu Bakr. And, we have Abu Bakr's father present here tonight, for those who are not aware, his older brother.
الله يحفظه يا رب.
And
الله يحفظه.
uncle as well, mashallah.
الله يحفظه ورجعه بالسلامة.